What is going on, guys? Welcome back to RC Hobbies SOS. It's Sunday, Savage Sunday. I've got the beast out, the XL, one of my pride and joys. There's a few things I need to do to this. So I had a lot of problems from the factory with the engine. I eventually swapped the engine for a Force R36, which is identical to the engine that it came with, and the engine it came with had a problem. I've gone into it many times, pretty boring, but it had a problem from the start. Anyway, eventually I've got this engine and I took it apart, and what I think it was this back plate. It wasn't secure, so it was leaking, and there was a rotor start over it, so it wasn't immediately obvious until I took it apart. I noticed that all the screws here, they had no tension in them, so obviously it would run for a little while, but as soon as anything got hot or the compression got up, it didn't work properly. So I am going to put the original engine, which has got literally no runtime on it, back in here. But I wanted to, I've been waiting for these. This is HPI alloy clutch shoes and springs. The parts number is just there. I'm sorry it's backwards, but that's just the way it is. So that's what I'm going to do. Put a flywheel on here, take the engine out of here, put the flywheel on here, add the shoes and the clutch and the bell, and reinstate this. Also, I put the FLM hardened gears into the transmission. When I was doing that, I was not happy with the flanged bearings that were in there. One of the bearings, the metal shield, was loose. It had come off. Also, the bearings, where the gears are inside the trans, the bearings are supposed to sort of push into the center of the gear and then hold there. They sort of click in and they're supposed to hold there, which is what the flange is for. However, the bearings that came with the truck, the flange, well, it wasn't secure in the gear, so it basically, you could push it straight through, which, although it was sandwiched, so it was kind of stayed in the same place, it's not supposed to be like that. So I ordered new flanged metal shielded bearings and this here is the part number. However, I ordered them with the part number out of the manual, which I'm not 100% sure is the same number, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Because in the manual, and when I ordered them with the number in the manual, it came up as flange metal shielded bearings. Well, these are flanged bearings, but they're not metal shielded. So although they come up as supposing to be metal shielded, and the part number is for metal shielded, there's no metal shield on there. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a problem or if it's integral to this. I can't see why it would be, but it's very strange. And I know I did watch another video. The guy who has the Savage, the HPI enthusiast site, he's called something rules, many rules or something. Anyway, when he took the transmission apart, said that the bearings, the same thing, that they weren't metal shielded bearings, they should have been. Anyway, going to put them in anyway, and also I need to adjust the first and second gear adjustment. I put it onto the factory adjustments, what it's supposed to be. It says in the manual it's not shifting, so I need to loosen that off. So anyway, that is the order of the day for today. So just get on with it, I suppose. It's really cold. It's really cold where I live here in London at the moment. The temperature is not getting up over 2 degrees Celsius. It's freezing cold at night. It's very difficult to start all these nitros. I have a garage, an outside garage. I rent it. It's a little bit of away from here, but there's no power there, so I can't actually heat an engine up in there. And obviously I'm not going to heat an engine up in here and start it in here. So maintenance is another good part of this hobby, isn't it? So we don't have to always be out and using them, even though we probably would love to. We still have other stuff that we can do. Now, I've been a bit naughty here because I have not emptied this fuel tank, which is not good, but that's just the way it is, I'm afraid. So I'm going to take the fuel tank off first of all, and then take the engine off. I think I'll tackle the engine first, get the clutch shoes, get the flywheel off of this one, and then and the collet and nut, and then rebuild the other clutch. So I'll do that as the first part of this job. I'll just take this fuel tank off and take the air filter out and undo this here, the roll cage, so I can get better access. I'll take this off, this air filter. So I watched a good video earlier on of my friend JP's RC, or on TikTok he's Gearhead 360. He was talking about diff fluids. He was talking mainly about buggies, but he made a video to explain their differences and why you would use one and not the other, which is a very interesting, good video. So maybe pop over and see if you can watch that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this. I'm going to take this engine out, undo the clutch link, the carb linkage, and I will get you back on after I've taken the engine out. This is taking the exhaust off and such, and I'll show you the assembly of the clutch shoes. Now, I use a clutch tool, and there was a big argument the other day on one of the groups, people being quite derogative about using clutch tools. I don't need it because I'm the best in the world, this, that and the other. The thing is, use one, don't use one, it's totally up to you, whatever you find easiest. I find it easiest with the clutch tool. You're less likely, I think, to hurt yourself, stab yourself, probably a little bit gentler on the springs maybe, but you know, each their own. This is a hobby, and you know, you just got to do what you want to do, innit? Okay guys, so the engine's out. I just need to undo this hex here and take the clutch off. I think that's a 2 mil. Okay, so we're just left with the this clutch here. The clutch itself, these are cheap shoes from eBay. They're not too bad. They've got a few burrs on them, but they haven't had much running, so I wouldn't expect them to be totally trashed. So anyway, okay, so what I do is I use the clutch tool just to pull the spring back, and then I use a flat head. This is just to remove them. I use a flat head screwdriver just between the flywheel and the clutch shoe, just to give it a little bit of purchase, and that just gives it enough lift to like lift it off, and then you can just pop it off. And once you get one off, the rest are a lot easier. So that's one. These springs, they look all right, but they were pretty ill-fitting when I first used them as well, which is another reason why I wanted to change them. They're not very long, and they don't sit on the clutch nut very well. The last one you can just pop off with a screwdriver. It's easy. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this clutch nut with a standard RC tool spanner, one of these, and remove the flywheel. So I've wrapped the flywheel in a bit of paper so it doesn't get damaged, and then I hold it with these grips, and that way I can just pop the nut off easily like that. Now this will undo by hand. It just gives it a bit of protection. I don't think it makes a lot of difference if you've got a few nicks and scratches on the flywheel, but it certainly doesn't hurt to protect things like this. So that's why I've done it. So taking off this clutch nut now. It's very dirty, I'll clean that up in a bit. So then you're left with the flywheel, which has a collet sort of underneath it. Now there's a tool to get this off as well, but again I just give it a little tap. So we just give it a little tap, that's it, off. So there's the flywheel. Now this collet here also needs to come off. Now it's not a solid ring, and there's a little groove in it, and you can open that groove up with a flathead screwdriver, because when you put it back on the other engine, the back of the flywheel, when you tighten it down, will close the collet tight, so it's fine to do that. Or you can just try and lever it up. This one will come off, look, it's just levering straight up, and there's the collet. So now that is the engine that I will store, and I'll put the clutch onto the new one. Okay guys, so off camera I've fitted the motor mount. I've also fitted the rotate start, which I've also used Loctite on, and I've put the gasket on the back for the exhaust, the better one. I suggest that you do this straight away, because there's nothing more annoying than putting this all back into your truck and you've forgotten to put the rotor start on, and you can't get it on once it's in the truck and secure. And I've done it before, and it's really annoying because you then got to take it all out again. So for me, I always do all the fittings back on first, and then I'll put the clutch on. Okay, so we'll put the collet back on first. That's the little groove in it that I was talking about. So we'll slide that on and down. Then on with the flywheel. Just push that down. And then it's the reverse of when you took it off. You put the clutch nut on, tighten it down, hold it. I hold it with the grips and tighten it, and that'll pull the collet on tight. Okay guys, so we've got the clutch shoe and the spring, and my trusty clutch tool here, which now needs to be turned that way. I don't turn that way, like this way. That's it. So I'll try and get this on. So I always offer the spring up to the shoe. Okay, then I offer it to this, and I just push it down a little tiny bit, just so it's just holding there. Then I can use this tool to just slip it around, and then push down And there we go, that clutch shoe is on. Now you can't tell me that that wasn't easier with a clutch tool. I know I didn't show you exactly how to use it, but believe me, it's pretty easy, and there's plenty of videos on it. And that's now seated on there nicely. I like to push the spring just a little bit down like that, so I know it's really in the groove, and then you just continue the process for the rest of the shoes. I'll see if I can get a better angle of it. Done. Last one. And that's it, all done. Just check that they all spring. Fine, fine, and fine. Just put the clutch bell back on now. Okay guys, so that's the clutch reassembled, the clutch bell's on. As you can see, it's spinning freely, it's nice and tight. There's a tiny bit of play. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's literally tiny. That's fine. The less the better, but you know, that's tolerable. And spinning freely, so that's it. So that's the clutch reassembled, new shoes. So this engine should be ready to go. The next job is to replace the bearings in the trans. Last time I took this trans case off, I actually had to shim each corner of the case, the lid of the case, because the new gears must be very slightly bigger than the old ones, and that caused the case there to put too much pressure on, and it stopped the gears from turning freely. So I actually had to put 4 tiny shims on each corner of this case where the screws go in, and it was a simple fix, but it was quite difficult to achieve. This time I'm going to put a dab of grease on each corner so the shims don't come off. But anyway, that's for another day. It's getting late now, I've got other stuff to do. But thanks for joining me. I hope that you got something out of this video. Please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, ringing the bell, sharing, and all that good stuff. Obviously I'm a small channel, and this is my hobby. I want to share it with you guys, and it's a great motivation when you guys comment and like and everything else. So anyway, just want to say thanks for all the support. On another note, I don't get involved in any politics with other people. If I've got something to say about anyone, I will say it to them. I don't talk about people behind their back. I don't gossip. If anyone says that I have, they're lying, because I just don't do that. And if anyone says that I have, I'd like to see any proof of it, because I don't care about any of the politics of YouTube or TikTok. You know, I get on with everyone. If people want to comment and watch my stuff, great. If they don't, I don't care. And I literally, you know, it doesn't bother me. I'm in the UK. I just do my own thing. I enjoy the hobby. I've got a lot of friends. And I've got no time for politics, and I don't get involved. So if anyone has said anything to anyone that I have said anything or commented anything, it is not true. And whoever said it, it's probably them doing it. So I'd just be careful. Snakes in the grass and all that. Anyway guys, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one.